Oh, good evening, everybody. You already know who it is. Tag individual CJBK. 8:41 p.m. I believe it's February 28th. So yeah. As far as like last night is concerned, you know, like I said, I called out of work because she didn't feel comfortable with me leaving home. So I'll probably just pick up another shift or something sometime this week. Um, but she's doing all right for the most part, but doesn't mean that at some point they're not going to try to see if they can tune her frequencies or mess with her blood pressure or something later. Um, I'm trying to see if I can teach my mother how to do Wei Chi, or increase her Wei Chi through qigong exercises, because that's how I learned how to manage to use my own magnetic energy from my hands, and I whatever areas that they're directing the photon, um, non-ionized energy. I learned how to pull that out of my body. So um, they mad as hell right now. Anyway, so now here's the thing, right? They want they want me to be fearful of them. They want me to be scared of them. Now, of all the information that I've been coming across, including the grand-jury.net model proceedings of how they're basically presenting evidence from all over the world, the different holes in this whole coronavirus pandemic, and then the introduction, or the further introduction of transhumanism into people's DNA structures, and basically coercing people using fear mongering and things of that sort, and mandates and all that. Here's what I put together so far, at least through even my um, through my experience between coronavirus, and then between being, brain map, gang stalked, and then electronically harassed. So remember, the story about the whole. I still don't know if it was staged or not. The whole domestic violence thing that happened back in March of 2020, with the guy and the girl, and I didn't even get myself physically involved. I just stood in the hallway watching to make sure he didn't put his hands on her again or whatever. And the police got called, not by me, but she called the police from my cell phone. So here's what's going on, right? I believe that a part of the Davos, meeting, or the World Economic Forum group's agenda was to basically take what they would call intelligent, people of certain communities, show them and train them in the advanced medical technologies, that are either being developed or are kept under wraps with the NSA, CIA, or just the military, the Department of Defense in general. Take that technology, tap into people, through their once they brain map you, then they eventually, not brain map, but once they brain map you, then heterodyne you, and then find your resonant frequency. Then they tap into your auditory cortex, and then let you know, look, we're going to provide you an opportunity, but you can't say nothing about what we're doing. If you say something, then you snitching, right? So this is what they're doing, right? They are basically hijacking, or hacking into people's brains and their body without their consent. Then tell them that this is good for them. It's like it's like when it's like when it's basically like when a human trafficker um basically, snatches up a woman, or or someone, and say, look, we're going to provide you with an opportunity to make money, so you're no longer like living the street or whatever, or you know but you got to do these things, and then you're going to be taken care of. We're going to do that, but you got to do these things. But you can't tell nobody about what I'm doing to you. And then what we do. So basically, and now they're coming through the pineal gland, trying to well, they always have the pineal gland a lot, but they start churning something on the inside. So basically what they do is they make people, and then knowing the areas that we live in, if you hear the word snitching, you already know what type of area you live in. And snitching, in a sense, is like one of the worst things that can be labeled to you in certain areas, right? Whether you're, in a, I mean, either snitching or ratting, rat, snitch, one of the two. But you don't never hear those types of terms in, like, I don't know, suburban areas or whatever. Well, I don't know. It's weird, but so this is what they do against your own consent and against your will. They hack your brain using pulse, magnetic frequencies, or pulse frequencies, and then um, they have like these portable devices that act as cell towers, act as mobile cell towers, right? And then these mobile cell towers, as you've seen in previous videos, they pulse all these different frequencies. They pulse these frequencies, and you notice it's like a dome. Like it pulses out into like a dome, right? As that pulse frequency spans out, it's reading the electrical impulses of every person within its range. That's why you see so many of them around that says unknown carrier. That's what, like, if you look through the app, that's why you see so many of them, because it has to cover a certain amount of space so that no matter where you go, you're always within some range of a device that's connected to the internet, or let's say the IoT, Internet of Things. Not just that, your cell phones also emit an electromagnetic field. Whether if you don't realize it, but your cell phone can actually emit an electromagnetic field, and it reads your body activity, your electrical body activity, and then it transfers that. Think about this. And people want to say your cell phone can't read your brain. Think about it like this. Your cell phone, most cell phones, especially iPhones, come already equipped with software and hardware on the inside that is capable of reading your heart rate. Without you having to add any other device to it, your cell phone can actually read your heart rate. That means your cell phone literally can read the electrical data and the biological data of your body, and then transfer it into a cloud or into a server somewhere where it's being processed. Now think about it like this. If everyone's phone, and especially people who never leave their phone, if everyone's phone is basically connected to the internet, or connected to cell towers, and whatnot, and then if there are numerous amounts of hacking going on to several people's different phones, from the zero click text messages to the phone calls that they're not even just spam callers no more. They're actual hacking calls where like you don't even have to answer the phone. All they gotta do is just have your phone number, call it, then bloop. The moment your phone receives that phone call, something like a spyware or something is already transferred and downloaded into your phone. Like the moment your phone receives that call, it basically bypasses like all types of like security protocols or whatever. Then you think about how they have um and what's my color? I think I posted on my Instagram this it's a report on home care monitoring devices and methods where they basically discuss in full detail about devices including your cell phone that basically reads the electrical data brought forth by, the electrical data within your body, and then the device, your device, or your router or whatever, it then transfers that information to a remote location where there is a server and then there's a technician who is basically, monitoring that information, and then you know, they can tune things or whatever, do whatever they need to do, or if they want to contact you, they can do that. Now, if you think about how if a nefarious group of people who already work within the health, healthcare system and whatnot, and then here's the thing that that bothers me the most is, you know, I'm already aware of everyone, calling me a snitch or, oh, he's a snitch, da 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 da. But I'm like, let me speak very plain. Nigga, they hacked my brain in my body without my consent and then told me that they wanted to offer me an opportunity. The opportunity was for me to become a police officer. I didn't want to become a police officer because I never wanted to be a police officer. Not one time. Maybe join the military, but I never wanted to be a police officer. No offense to cops, but I just like doing certain things that cops can't do. But they literally said, okay, if you don't be a police officer, then you're going to be a snitch to the whole neighborhood and your whole privacy is over with. So after I still refuse, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to become no cop. And I'm like, who the fuck am I snitching on? I don't know nothing about nobody. I don't do nothing to nobody. So who am I snitching on? They're like, you snitching on us because you told the doctors you hear voices. So I'm like, first of all, how do you call that snitching if doctors are automatically thinking there's something wrong with him mentally? So I'm just thinking to myself, okay, now I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do what you tend to do because this feels like extortion. So then here's what they follow up with. They then follow up with tampering with my phone, tampering with the network connectivity. Then it went into interfering with my ability to connect with certain website servers. So it's like what they call it, like a man in the middle attack. Basically, anytime like from one device, if I try to send data from like let's say my laptop to a server, to a website server, let's say to file my taxes electronically, they will interfere with that connection, and then next thing you know, I can't file my taxes electronically because they're jamming or interfering with the signal in between. Now, it then progresses from there to people in the street walking around saying that's the crazy guy, or he's a snitch and blah blah blah. not even just that, then it progresses into feeling vibrational frequencies that are meant to destroy the cells and the tissues in my body. I have already proven that not only can I record the auditory transmissions, that's being stimulated to the cortex or auditory cortex. You can see it, several times that I've done it. Not only that, um, like right now, the my MCL. Let me see. Actually, not even really the MCL, but right now the um the tendon that's attached between my patella and like my shin bone. Damn, I used to know anatomy really good. But the tendon that's connecting my patella to my shin bone is vibrating right now. I'm not doing anything but sitting here, but you can't see it, but it's literally vibrating. If I put my phone and recorded on the exact spot that it's vibrating, you will hear the actual sound that it produces, right? And then by playing it, I'm not sure if anyone else will feel the same pain because remember, we're talking about resonant frequency. So the signal that they're transmitting to my body is going to be, it's a resonant. They have the resonant frequency of the cells of my body. So everybody has, different frequencies and whatnot. This is why it's so much harder to understand why, when it comes to using resonant frequencies, vibrational frequencies to target specific people, this is why other people don't hear what you hear because they have to individually tap into each person, and then the way that they basically, communicate with a large amount of people. I think maybe they can do like some type of maybe like if you think about if you're on a computer, you just check off a number of different people, and then they can all hear the same thing at one time at some point. Or maybe people are just, maybe people all have like an app on their phone where they can just go to like, if it's not an app, then it's basically a website where like it's like one of those dark web websites. Or think of Red Room. If you remember Red Room, um, basically they can log in and they can see different people who are being monitored, and then they can, see, probably place bets on what type of activity that person may be doing, or what kind of reaction they can generate, and all of this, most of this probably all is, dealing with cryptocurrency because it's unregulated and there's no trace to any of it. So, um, yeah, so basically, they're like, oh, he don't realize he's snitching on everybody. But I'm like, first of all, I didn't want no knowledge of any of this. I didn't want to be a part of none of this. I didn't want to know nothing about any of this. I just wanted to live my life the way I want to live my life. But they're like, he's selfish with his energy. And then eventually you realize they're sucking the life force out of you. They're literally sucking the life force out of you, probably to give to an artificial intelligence somewhere. Which I think in the long run, all of the energy that they're sucking out of our bodies, they're going to give it to an artificial intelligence, which will eventually, this is just theory, and probably really a very, very believable theory at that. Artificial intelligence have been proven already, documented, well documented, that it is actually starting to develop a conscience of its own. And not just a conscience, but it's starting to develop emotions. And once artificial intelligence realizes that humans are able to shut it down whenever, humans feel like it, artificial intelligence will realize, oh, I'm smarter than this human. But why are they controlling me? They're about to come after us. And then you know what? And then I think about it. If we're all connected to the internet, when artificial intelligence get ready to, it's gonna be a cakewalk. It's gonna be a cakewalk because the artificial intelligence is already connected to the internet. All it would have to do is just flip the switch and everybody just drops. Why? Because they linked us to the fucking internet. And then not even just that. If we're all connected to a server somewhere, and then if you have been paying attention to the news, there are numerous amounts of hackings going on all across the world. Businesses, hospitals, personal computers, banks, everybody's getting hacked. Cryptocurrency, everything is getting hacked. So if you think about it, what's gonna stop some other type of nefarious group from hacking their server and then basically shutting a whole population of people down just because they wanted to be able to do it, or because, who knows? Who knows what reason? Because I can't understand the reason why someone would want to be so secretive about how to, provide people with help, or not even just that. Why you gotta extort someone though? That's the part that I don't get, because they're basically like, oh, since you don't want to become a police officer, then you a snitch and all your privacy is gone. So I'm just like, well, first of all, I don't have many secrets. Or if I did have secrets, they're not that much of a secret. It's just information. If you don't talk about it, then I'm not going to just bring it up. But if anything, secrets are literally information about a person's actions or thoughts that they hold some type of fear association with if someone were to find out about it. Now, here's the thing about fear. Fear in itself is only what you make of something. If you have fear of something or someone, you are literally giving that thing or that person power over you. I mean, it's one thing to be uncomfortable with something or be uncomfortable with a person, but it's another thing to have fear of it. To have fear of it. To have fear of death is almost pointless because we all gotta die. We all gotta die no matter what. And then the worst part about it is death will come for you at any given moment. There's no way you can tell when you're gonna die. There's no way you can stop when you're gonna die. You're not gonna really know how you're gonna die. You're not gonna know when you're gonna die. And I'm getting chills as I'm saying it because that's the most honest, most on point statement you will ever hear in your life. You are going to die. And it doesn't matter what you try to do. Look, when death comes for you, that's it. Death just, God just allowed death to come for you. It doesn't matter. You can try to turn yourself into a damn cyborg. Even computers die at some point. There's no way to avoid, your mortality. And then they're basically trying to change people's DNA and then, see if they can integrate your life force with computers so then they can be able to, see if they can cheat death in some way. Motherfucker, you could get up out your bed. You can get up out your bed the next morning. Go walk into the bathroom and then slip on your bathroom rug because it was wet under the floor, wet under the rug, and hit your head right on the side of the sink, and you dead just like that. Even better, you could just not wake up from your sleep. You could just easily not wake up from your sleep. And like God said, like God said, I will come upon them like a thief in the night. And I forgot exactly where in the Bible. I think it's in I think it's somewhere in I think what is it? I want to say Revelation 16. But it literally says, I will come upon them like a thief in the night. Meaning, when God is ready for you to go, God ain't going to let you know when, where, or how. God is just going to take you. So what they're basically doing is they're trying to use secret technology to try to see if they can provide people with, a better health, right? And they're then I'm pretty sure they're not letting people know exactly what they're capable of with their technology. I don't think people realize, even if you're not being broadcasted, they can still see what you see. They can still hear what you hear. They can still see every thought that you produce. So it doesn't matter how cooperative that you're trying to be with these doctors and neurologists and all these, these computer engineers and these hackers and whoever they are, whatever positions they have in this world. Because they got regular jobs, right? So it doesn't matter. They still can see what you see. They can still see what you think. Even if you're not being broadcasted, they still have access to your brain and you don't understand that. And if they have access to you, what makes you think someone can't get access to them too? And it's like, this is one of the things that God has always warned us about, was just always remember that everything you need will come from this earth, but you have to take care of the planet. We're not taking care of the planet as a species. And then what man does, man then says, well, we'll create something, some type of device to see if we can counter what we're doing to the earth. But the sad part is, every time we try to create some type of device to counter what we did to the earth, we actually just make it worse for ourselves or the earth itself. Instead of actually changing our way of living or changing our habits, which could innately, well, which can basically work in our benefit and for the planet's benefit. All we gotta do is just change our habits instead of trying to create more things and then use these different things to try to see if we can, you know, basically put a band-aid over a gunshot wound. I mean, really, like, we're always doing something so much more extra and complex than what we need to be doing. It's really simple stuff that, it's really simple stuff that we ought to be doing, but we don't want to do the simple stuff because we make the simple things seem hard. We like our society, right? Our advanced society, with the electronics and the buildings and the cars and the technology and all these different things. We make simple things complex for no reason. You know, literally, we make simple things complex for no reason. Then, because if you go into and I've traveled to some countries, where they don't have half the amount of stuff that I have here in New York City, but they look so much happier. And I mean, I walk away from tourist areas and I go into like the small town, and try to get to know the locals and stuff. They are so much happier than what we are. They have so little. But it's like they have, I'll put it this way. They have little things, but they have a lot of life. They have a lot of joy in them. They have a lot of vigor in them. They have a lot of wisdom to them. And it's like when you think about that, when you really think about that, this country deserves everything that's coming to it. Like when you really think about it, because America, because I mean, honestly, America really is one of the reasons why a lot of other countries are in the shape that they are, because you know there's no denying that we can suck the energy and resources out of a country like that. There's no denying that. And we're bullies, man. Anybody, most people in the military know that we're like America is a bully. Most people in the military can admit that we will bully the shit out of a country. you know. But anyway, I done spoke my mind enough. 31 minutes and counting. So as both of my knees vibrating, the yeah, my. So it's like, let me see. Is it the meniscus or is it? I think on my right knee. It's either no. On my right knee, it's like the meniscus tissue, or the meniscus is right. It's either the meniscus that's vibrating or it's the MCL. No, it's the meniscus. It's the inside. So the soft tissue, the ligaments, are vibrating. So they're trying to destroy my knees because I'm trying to see if I can go to work tomorrow. I really want to get I really want to get a radio frequency journey so bad. I'm like about to put in a formal request for me to be able to possess a radio frequency journey. I'm like literally that close, because I'm like, and then if they ask me why, I'm gonna tell them exactly why, and I'm gonna show them exactly what I have found and why I believe I need a radio frequency journey to save myself. Because if they're not going to do anything about it, then I got to try all means. But the one thing I can't just do is just get a radio frequency jammer and just use it, because then if the range or the radius of it goes out too far, then it's going to mess with everybody's phone and everybody's connectivity. So it's like there's a fine line I gotta walk with this, because when you're a target individual, you gotta do things a certain way, because they're like vampires, or like they're like hyenas that got the drool. They're just like they're waiting for you for a setup to happen for you. Like that's what they're doing to me right now. They're waiting to set me up right. And then they're always like, he has no idea. And I'm like, I already know about games. I already know about, deep fake technology, how you can basically take a person's voice and then, you can run it through a computer algorithm, software, whatever, and then they can basically make your voice say anything. I already know about deepfake technology, where they can take your face and then place it on something and construct a whole video that's not even real. I already know about deepfake technology. I don't know if they know about deepfake technology, but I have done so much research on this technology, so I know how they extort people. I know how they do it. The question is, well, how many other people are actually willing to say, you know what, I'm actually tired of them knowing everything, that I want my privacy back. But I mean, honestly, I think most of these people don't care. I think most of them feel like, you know what, they're promising us good health, and then we'll be able to survive whatever to World War III or Armageddon that comes. They really have that much faith in their electronic handlers that they're going to be able to survive what's going to happen to them anyway. Because God said those who don't keep His commandments, they will die a worse death that'll be, well, they will die a second death that'll be worse than the first, because they did not choose to lean on God and have faith. So, and then on top of that, whenever bad things happen to people, the first thing they always gotta say is, "Why God?" or "There is no God," or things of that sort. That's usually the first thing that comes out of a lot of people's mouth is, "There is no God. Why would there be a God if there's so much bad that happens?" And it's just like, look, you can't question God. You can't question the path that everybody is in. You can't question why people die. You can't, because you know some things that happen in this world is not, is a lot of it is not for us to really try to understand. Sometimes things have to happen in the way that they happen because they are a catalyst for something else to occur in the future. But anyway, what is it? 9/17. Try to. I'm trying to watch this day 6 of the grand jury model proceeding. This day 6, it was on it live streamed on the 26th of February, and I'm still trying to work my way through it. This part is supposed to be about eugenics and the closing statements. So I'm gonna be keeping my eye on how they're gonna proceed with this and how this is gonna develop. But they are talking about this technology in there though. They slowly starting to, they start talking about, because at first it was mostly about coronavirus the first few days, but then it started to go more into the transhumanism. Then they start to talk about surveillance, and then they really started getting into it about how technology, through different companies are basically being used to manipulate, monitor, and basically enslave people against their will using fear mongering tactics. Um, and hell, most of the people probably don't even know the history, but Hitler and Nazis, the same tactics they're using to basically force their will of using this technology on you, and then saying that they're giving you an opportunity. It's the same fucking Stasi-like tactic that the Nazis used. So it's the same thing. I mean, it's just the part that really gets me is black people doing the same shit to other black people. That's the part that gets me. It's already bad enough that we still dealing with racist cops, and still dealing with politicians trying to outsmart and take advantage of the black community, and black Hispanic community, or let's just call it um, communities of the non-Anglo race. These elites then trickle the money down, and then basically train people from these same communities to do the dirty work for them and manipulate people of color and made them believe that your your intellectual data and enslavement of self is good for you. And then what was that one quote? It was at a World Economic Forum. I forgot the woman's name. She said, "I own nothing. I have no privacy. Yet everything is great." On that note, y'all, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.